Okay, so we just had the announcement of this guy, Clive, at the Game Awards. The trailer was a minute long. This one that they uploaded to YouTube is 4 minutes and 15 seconds. And it looks pretty crazy. Twitter is already
Unless
up in arms about this guy. They wanted Tifa, they got Clive instead, fair enough. But then also this guy, he looks like Noctis, but he also looks like I kind of want to say like a little bit of like Victor, and even some Devil Jin. Even some Devil Jin.
my sword, I swear,
This intro right here is really fire.
Firebird's flame forevermore.
I'm not too familiar with who this guy is. Like, I don't know too much about the whole Final Fantasy lore and whatnot. So I'm definitely going to do a little dive into this guy's history and see what he's all about. But I'll do that later.
Get ready for the next battle.
I like hearing this person
Tekken,
announce the character's name.
new
Listen to this.
challenger.
I'm here to even odds.
Objections.
He looks cool to me. As someone who doesn't know anything about Final Fantasy, he looks cool to me. I get everyone wanted Tifa, but man, rolling that R. So they have these giant dragon cutscenes that's in between the fight, and players probably will skip this. Players probably going to be mashing that start button to skip, but it is fire though, just like from a cinematic standpoint. I wonder if they'll add more trailers like this to the game, because in my opinion, bro, they should definitely add more of this to the game. That's fire. But here's you have the actual character versus Kazuya Mishima. Now, he does this overhead swipe that's literally like Noctis. This is literally like Noctis. I can't even think the input. It's just like forward 2 or back 2. It's something 2. And then he goes with that high there that staggers. You see that high, it kind of has pushback. So you're going to get plus frames off of that. And then he gets like the advantage. So I don't know. I'm just going to throw out a plus. I think that's probably like plus 15. Then he does a jab with a high, and then he does that move. I don't know what that is. That probably will activate heat, but they probably have heat turned off for this portion of the trailer, right? Now he does that high crushing mid. That's probably his down 1, down 2. I'm trying to think of what orn that is. Then he does the high attack. That high attack is literally Noctis. I wish I had like Noctis here so I can show you guys the comparisons. I'm pretty sure like IMOP is going to do a side by side. But that high swipe is from Noctis. And then he goes into this stance that's dashing forward. And I wonder if this will be a stance mix up where he could do multiple different things, or if he only does this one thing. But see, so there's the mix up. He forces you in a crouch, and then he does this. So if you block that move and don't get hit by it, you probably will have to eat the mix up, and then he'll do this. Man, he probably has a low. I think at one point in time he did a hell sweep in this trailer. We'll see if the hell sweep is from the same stance in just a second. But that's kind of a launcher, right? That knocked the person back kind of far. You will be able to probably screw off of that because this guy got long range with that sword. So he'll probably be able to close that gap pretty easily. And if he can't, the heat activation will definitely get it. But he does some kind of down whatever here. And then he does a big launcher. This probably will be jab punishable. You probably could jab punish that. I don't know if you could get it. I don't know if this will be minus 13, but probably definitely jab punishable. Big launch, teleports in the air just like Noctis, and then he slams you to the ground. What's interesting about this is I wonder if that ground slam will activate the floor explosion by itself, or if it will not, because not every ground slam does. But then he follows up after with this slice on Kazuya. It looked like he did a little run there, and then he goes into this animation, which is really cool. Now Kazuya does an attack, and he crushes. So when I seen this part, bro, I was so terrified. The video that I uploaded today at the same time as this recording, right? I was saying that one thing that terrifies me is crushing. And this guy is definitely doing that in this trailer. So Kazuya does this string. He ends with that charge up mid. So maybe Kazuya doesn't even get the mid off because Kazuya is still holding that bad boy before the guy even does the thing. So maybe he's not actually crushing the mid. He's just beating the charge up, whatever. But this probably will beat some kind of mids or lows, right? He's high off the ground, right? But he does this big launch, and then the combo he's going to get there is crazy. So that wolf thing is kind of like Kazumi. I wouldn't be surprised if the developers use the exact animation of Kazumi's tiger for that wolf. Is that bad signs for Kazumi? I don't know. But then you have that move, which is literally Noctis again. There's so much Noctis in here. They changed up the animation somewhat, but it's so much of Noctis, and you can see it. Like if you play Tekken 7, you see the Noctis. He knocks Kazuya to the ground. He probably gets the guaranteed follow-up off this. If you're at the wall, so Yoshimitsu's no sword stance 1-1 knocks you down. If you're close to the wall, he could do down 2-2, screw you back up on the wall. That little slide animation that Kazuya did right there, if you're at the wall, you won't go full distance, and he probably will be able to pick you up, right? Which is fair because, you know, there's so many characters in the game who could do that, but it's important to identify how stronger a move get with the wall. Yeah, the range. You can look at the people in the chat. They're talking about the range. See, that's what I was talking about. You see how he did that little dash there? Remember earlier when I was talking about the dash, how he did the mid option? So this time he did this big plus frame attack. So we've seen him go into this stance 2 different ways. He did the other attack, and now he's doing this big sword stab that, look, because he is orange, it does chip damage. So chip damage into a plus frame into a mix-up, and he does basically a hell sweep. This looks like Leroy Smith hell sweep that he does in Hermit's stance, right? And then boom, mid. Oh, is that a low? Is that low, or is that move low mid? It looked like it's mid because the punch animation is on his hand, so it's probably mid, right? So low mid hell sweep after a mix-up, plus frame, chip damage, whatever, right? And then the dog comes out after as well. Now look, once again, look at him on the wall. If you're closer to the wall, you probably can combo off of this. And, you know, his range is something we're definitely going to have to mess around with because his range looks like it's something crazy, right? Power Crush. Big Power Crush. There's nothing special there. That Power Crush looks pretty generic. It probably will wall splat. Maybe it would activate heat. Maybe it would have a push charge on it as well. But, you know, pretty generic. High string. It looks like it's tracking at least to the right side, but I can't see the streaks on it, so there's no way to really tell. Once again, pushback and heat and chip damage. So this guy is going to be a monster for that, right? Chip damage and pushback. Now he gets plus frames off of this because he does an axe kick. He beats him with this counter hit launcher. Mid, that same spike move is in that move to pick him up. Is in big wall splat. Now, one thing that's important about these trailers as well is that they don't really show you the full extent of like what the characters can do. I remember in Heihachi's gameplay, he was doing like moves like this as well, like 5 hits, right? So we really have to get our hands on it to see how insane his combos can be, because in my opinion, Heihachi's combos is some of the biggest in the entire game. And this guy doing these little baby combos, you would imagine with his range, with his ability to cover distance, he's going to be, you know, doing some pretty crazy combos. And then also, they're not even showing us how his heat activation is incorporated in all of it. So this guy's going to be something to really fear in terms of power, right? Kazuya does a plus frame. He sidesteps. So what is that? That's a sidestep 2. Sidestep 2. He activates this big arm, slams you to the ground. Down forward 1. What is that? Helicopter kick? No, cartwheel kick. And then he does this big beam of light. This thing that he did will probably be his combo ender. So you probably will do a super big combo, and he probably will do that back flip kick, and then because you lock him in, right? It's all one animation. You don't have to worry about travel after whatnot, right? So you do that big front flip kick, and then you do this thing to, like, it probably won't be always the combo ender, but this is probably something people would do to end the combo, because it's like, you know. Here's when Jin Kazama shows up. And then these two have a special interaction with one another. That's what's important to think about as well, is like, you know, when a DLC character shows up, they're going to have special interactions and, you know, cutscenes with each character. And then also, even if they don't have a cutscene, they may just have like a couple of dialogues for, you know, a character. Like if I say Yoshimitsu is a character who deals with like demons and monsters. So I would imagine that they would have some kind of special dialogue at least, but who knows? So Jin Kazama does that move high, and then Clyde looks. So this looks like, does he activate some kind of parry here, or like what happened here for him to get under this move? So jab jab, yeah. So he does jab jab, and he activates some kind of parry. This could be very problematic. Jab jab, and he does a parry, and he goes under it. and the parry goes backwards into a stance. I wonder if this is all natural or if the stance does this by itself, because some stances in the game or some parries in the game does everything for you, right? Like the flash. You flash and then the person drops to the ground. I don't know if this follow-up is an input or if this will be some kind of mix-up as well. Who knows, right? Big spike to the ground though, so that's good. So it's not a launcher at least, right? Like the flash, you get parried, boom, launch, full combos. This one just spikes you to the ground far away. This looks like a grab animation where he does Victor's gun, but it's probably something different. The wolf comes. I wonder what this wolf name is. Wolf grabs you by the neck and throws you, wow, throws you at him. And you, so the way that Jin landed right there, you probably get a combo off of that. Jin landed like kind of on his neck, right? Maybe you can't combo. Oh, you definitely, so you probably won't get a combo off of this, but you definitely get a mix up off of this. Jin is going to lay down on his back, and then you will recover fast enough to run up and do a mix up on him. That's basically what's going to happen. We have many things like this in the game where you knock a character down in this way and then you get a mix up. So that's what they're going to do. Mid, high, into another stance, or was that a stance or was that like some kind of tricky mid? Tricky mid that wall splats and explodes this little. Oh, that's cool. So the wall explosion is kind of different this time. So normally you would have like a barrel behind you or something blow up, but you hit this side, is then the dragon shoots stuff and then blows it up, and then it switches sides. So it's one of those things where it flips over. Now, I didn't see anything special about that wagon over there, and I wonder if this was what happens when you hit the side anywhere, or basically, like, I wonder what they'll do to distinguish that wall from all the other walls, because it didn't look like anything special. Full combo. See, look at the ground spike, right? Oh, there's a screw. There's a screw. So that's another good wall ender right there, or combo ender as well, where he did that. So you do this screw, that screw, is in, you dash up. That move's a power crush, by the way. That dash up move, that's a power crush. You dash up with the power crush. See, this move, that's a power crush, by the way. So that's a power crushing counter hit launcher out of stance that you can also use in combos. Or maybe it's not a counter hit launcher. Maybe I'm confusing it with the other move. But it's definitely a power crush. So it power crushes it and it does all of this extra stuff as well. And in this part, it's really cool. You have these two dragons that's fighting. In the actual game itself, you probably will be button mashing the start button to skip past this. But it's cool, you know, like tournaments and like for people who never seen it or whatnot, right? It definitely adds more cinematic elements to Tekken, which I do think they need, right? Like you do need that cinematic wow factor to show up in the game and, you know, just make it a little more special, right? And it does help that you could skip it as well. So, but then you have this transition to this final round version of the stage where the floor is a explosion. It blasts off the ground, right? But then you have the two dragons in the background fighting. I wonder like how much they'll be fighting while the fight is going on, right? And what if the one side is winning and the dragon on the side that you're playing on is winning? Maybe that's too deep in, you know? Big punch explosion. And also, this is kind of technically the first like lava type of fire stage we have in Tekken 8. We're missing a fire, we're missing a snow stage, but this is kind of like a fire lava stage, right? So Jin activates his little one wing, and I wonder what the lore is around this guy activating his wing, right? He activates a wing too, and I was so surprised. I'm like, wait a minute, what? He's copying Jin? Who did it first, right? But maybe this is why they chose this guy. It's because he has some kind of like connections to Jin Kazama or whatever, right? So this is when they show his heat activation. When he activates heat, he turns on fire like this. Forces crouch off of that. Big move, a lot of special animations. This is when the guy starts to look like Devil Chin more than like Noctis, but we'll analyze it. Huge spike or huge clash. What is that? Claw swipe kind of reminds me of Devil Chin. Force, wow, big string, huge string, huge. See, this is when the guy just starts like, he's just doing stuff at this point. He summons that staff from nowhere. He's going through many different stances right here as well. This is when he gets, so this guy is going to be very confusing. I would definitely advise when this character comes out to play in player match and get an understanding of what this guy's doing, because everyone's going to be playing him and he's looks like he's very confusing with all the fire and teleporting. Crazy. So Jin is doing this move. He sidesteps down forward 2. Down forward 2, probably 1. Heat dashes off of it. And then, see, now we're starting to see big boy combos. That's a big boy combo. And this little laser hand that he does at the end, this is what reminds me of Devil Jin right here, right? So he does all of this, and that big like laser gun reminds me of Devil Jin. Jin does this plus frames, and he beats that out by doing, see, so the Jin mains and the Devil Jin mains are going to have a taste of their own medicine here, right? Like this guy, Jin does a super plus frame move that we saw destroy the Tekken World Tour Finals, and this guy just like easy evade. Now this is a hell sweep that Jin tried to do, but he just evaded it like nothing, and just, you know, now it's my turn, right? And he always goes into these cinematic attacks. So we've seen about 4 of these cinematic attacks so far, and the guy's kind of cooking, you know. Floor explosion I was telling you about, big chunk of lava. I like that. I like the floor explosions. I wish they would put more into this game, and I like that they did here. I wonder if it's only one time. Well, maybe this is a final round scenario, and in a final round scenario, maybe, you know, it's the final round. But, you know, if this is like, basically, I want the floor blast to be more of a recurring thing, but that's me, the crazy Yoshi main, you know? So look at the range right there, right? So he did this huge floor blast, and then look at how far away he is, and look at how easy he covers this distance, right? That's a pretty far distance. A lot of characters, well, maybe they'll be able to easy cover it, but maybe not every character. But this guy covers that distance, no problem. No problem. Look, he's not even close to Jin, and he still hit him, right? So that range is going to be a problem with this guy. And this is his heat smash, I believe. So, okay, so if this is his heat smash, then it makes sense that the heat smash have so much range, because that's what they tend to do, right? And then you have a rage art. This rage art is really cool. I think some of the best rage arts in the game is like Devil Jin, Zafina, and I think this probably will be one as well. Now, I wonder if this dragon will be a part of every rage art. It probably will, but I wonder how it will look in other stages, because obviously we can see the floor back there. I wonder if they'll black it out for other stages and how it will look, right? Like if you think about Lee's Mansion, where they have this massive like ceiling or whatnot, does this activate a cutscene, or it's hard to tell because of like how incorporated this whole thing is into the stage. I would like to see this in another area, right? That's cool though. And then this wind animation. Yeah, this guy's going to be very powerful in this game. He's going to be very powerful. His range, his ability to evade, looks like his combos is going to be insane. We could just hope that his combo damage isn't through the roof like Yoshimitsu and Heihachi, right? But that's pretty much this trailer, right? This guy drops, what's it called, on the 16th. And I'm pretty sure, like, everyone's hating on the guy. Me personally, I could care less. I'm not going to buy him. But we'll see if I'm singing a different tune when the guy comes out. He comes out on December the 16th with 72-hour early access. So for those of you who have that, that's tomorrow. Holy smokes, if you got the season pass, that's tomorrow. I just realized that. Holy smokes. But yeah, Clive, not Tifa, Clive. Wow.